Now that enough time has passed between release, I thought it would be best to explore Tears of the Kingdom story a little bit more, so be forewarned there will be spoilers for the game in this video. But I will keep the endgame out of discussion, but there will be beginning spoilers. From what I can tell, Tears of the Kingdom takes place at least a few years after Breath of the Wild. In that, Link stopped Calamity Ganon, saved Zelda, and together they started to rebuild Hyrule. But since in Breath of the Wild, if you so wanted to, you could just go straight to Ganon and ignore everything else. But that's clearly not what happened here. It's already obvious enough that Link did take the time to remember Zelda and the champions, as he's no longer amnesitic. Or at least I think so, but considering he doesn't talk, it's hard to tell for sure. We know from dialogue in Age of Calamity when the future champions head to the past, that Link did take the time to free the Divine Beast before he went to save Zelda, so that did happen. And Link is clearly shown to have the Master Sword at the beginning of the game, so he did get that too. So essentially all the main quests from Breath of the Wild did canonically occur. But what about the side stuff? Well, that's a little more tricky. At the beginning of the game, Link has full hearts and full stamina, which would mean that he did complete all the shrines in Breath of the Wild, even though you couldn't max out both hearts and stamina in that game, but whatever. But what about the side quests? Well, your reward for completing all the shrines was the Hero of the Wild set of clothes. But for some reason, those clothes are in chests in the depths, which leads me to suspect that Link did get those clothes, was keeping them in chests, but when Ganondorf did the upheaval, somehow the chests got thrown into the depths. Let's be honest, that's probably how Nintendo will explain it in a future Hyrule Historia-like book. I would have had Link go into some secret part of the house he and Zelda own and take the tunic out of the chest, but I guess not. But what side quest did Link do? Well, when you visit Tarrey Town, Link is credited with helping establish it. Hudson and Ronson even have a daughter now, so that means a few years have passed, unless this kid grew up real fast. How old is she anyway? So the Tarrey Town side quest did happen. Also, Link doesn't have the champion's abilities any longer, which is due to their spirits passing on to the afterlife. Then, of course, the typical bag of spilling and Link loses all of his progress and has to start from scratch. Now we go to Hateno Village. Zelda is shown to be living there, in the house that Link bought in Breath of the Wild, and that he can still sleep in the bed shows that it's still his house, he just gave it to Zelda to live in. But the villagers of Hateno Village don't seem to be overly familiar with Link, which I suspect is because Link is usually a wanderer.
I used to roam the world, fighting monsters and sleeping in mud. A hero's life.
Yeah, I guess Link does love that kind of life. But what's odd about this is that you can encounter Bolson in Loren Village, who acts as though he's never met Link before. You sold me my house, you seriously don't remember that? What's also odd is the picture of the champions in the house is that it only appears if you have previous save data of completing the DLC, so that's ambiguously canon? I will assume Link also did the Trial of the Sword DLC since the Master Sword is at full power at the beginning of the game, and doesn't seem to run low on energy at all. Yet did Link get the Highland Shield in Breath of the Wild? In this game it's found in a secret chest in Hyrule Castle, although it's possible Link or Zelda put it back there sometime after Breath of the Wild, as we did see that Zelda took the time to make Link a new champion's tunic and kept it in the throne room to surprise Link. So that would mean Link and Zelda took some time to go to the castle, and it does seem some effort was being made to rebuild it. So from what we can see, Link and Zelda are in an ambiguous relationship, because we don't want to like the shippers anymore. They have the house in Hateno, but they still travel the world trying to heal Hyrule. Also, based on some of the positions of the rocks in the world, it would suggest Link amazingly got all the Korok seeds. Don't do that, by the way. What's a little muddy is how Ganondorf and Calamity Ganon relate. Typically, Ganondorf turns into Ganon in most other games, but in this, that's a little less clear. Ganondorf seems to have no memory of the things Calamity Ganon did, but at first he seems he does, as he even acknowledges Link and Zelda when he wakes up. But what's odd is nobody seems to know any kind of special connection between Ganon and Ganondorf. Zelda reacts briefly to how similar their names are, but that's about it. The game never specifies how Calamity Ganon is related to Ganondorf, if at all. After Rauru sealed Ganondorf away, I guess all the malice that made up Calamity Ganon leaked out of Ganondorf. That's the assumption most people have, but it's not clarified in the game itself. So let's go into how I interpret the events of Breath of the Wild based on this game. Link wakes up, is told by the king about Calamity Ganon, and to find Impa. He goes to Impa first and starts on the journey of finding his memories and freeing the Divine Beast. Link rediscovers his memories of the champions, teams up with their successors, and frees the Divine Beast from Ganon's influence. Along the way, he does do all the side quests that were available, and he does do all the shrines. Also, it seemed Link was wearing the complete Zora armor set when he freed Mipha, based on a statue in Tears of the Kingdom, which I don't think I was doing. Link also gets the Master Sword at some point, and in my mind he does the Trial of the Sword and Champions Ballad DLC. At that point, Link goes to Ganon, and in my mind, he was wearing the Hero of the Wild set, as befitting the typical Hero of Hyrule's wardrobe. Save Zelda, and the two set out to essentially rebuild Hyrule. Several years pass, the Kingdom of Hyrule has begun to heal. Link and Zelda are investigating some ruins below Hyrule Castle, where they wake up Ganondorf and start the events of Tears of the Kingdom. But that's just my interpretation of how things went down. What's your take on what happened? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please hit that bell, like, and subscribe button. If you want updates, join my Discord or check out my Patreon, which are provided in the description below. See you next time.